it's Hannah and welcome back to the Corner of Craft podcast. This is a knitting and crochet podcast in which I talk about knitting and crochet, because what else would I talk about in a knitting and crochet podcast? I don't actually know. I don't know. Anyway, I am Hannah. I'm the business owner behind the Corner of Craft. I make hand-beaded stitch markers, but I also dye yarn in colours inspired by Dungeons and Dragons under the label, I guess, chromatic yarns. Fun. I have a new t-shirt that I'm slightly obsessed with. It says, "Please scream inside your heart," akin to what Japan are recommending people to do now that they've reopened theme parks. They're saying that people shouldn't scream out loud because that would spread the roni. It's the fun term that I'm referring to the current global situation. YouTube was demonetizing videos if they talked about it. I don't know if they've scrapped it, but we're calling it the roni. And yeah, this t-shirt is by Twin Made. I bought it myself. I just love it. Anyway, I hope you're all well. If you'd like to follow me on social media, please feel free. Links can all be found in the description box below, as well as a link to the podcast notes, which are no longer in the Ravelry group because Ravelry are buttheads. So it's now just on my website, and the only link to Ravelry in my podcast notes is for the Crit and Knit Cal, which is a knit along I'm currently hosting, which is going on until the 31st of August. There are prizes, and yes, it's currently going on to the 31st of August. Yeah, so I didn't want to close the Crit and Knit Cal thread, but if you can't post on Ravelry, please feel free to email me and I will enter on your behalf. And yes, Crit and Knit Cal is a knit along or crochet along in which you are meant to knit things inspired by Dungeons and Dragons, but we're stretching it out to just like really high fantasy themed patterns or yarn. Oh good, the bin men are here. Yesterday was bin day and they just came the wrong way down a one-way road, so I'm not quite sure what's happening. How annoying. But yeah, it's really warm in my room. It's meant to get up to like 27 degrees or something obscene today. But I can't open my window because I'm pretty sure my window's dropped. I had to kind of force it closed last time I opened it, so it's alright. Hopefully we'll be moving at some point. Anyway, my name is Hannah. I am coming at you today from the middle of England. To me, it's the north. Nottingham, land of Robin Hood and ducks, because that's the term of endearment people from Nottingham seem to call everyone. Ducky and duck. That was an interesting conversation I once had with a lady from Hungary, I think, that I worked with, and she hadn't been in Nottingham too long, so she got very confused as to why people kept calling her duck, so I had to explain. Yes, last week I went down to see my mum and dad because I hadn't seen them since March. Obviously was very safe throughout, and had a very lovely time. The plan was to get loads of knitting and crochet done, but I haven't got as much done as I wanted to. I wanted to have like all the finished objects and be all excited. Didn't happen, but we've got some finished objects that, you know, need blocking. The tea I'm drinking today, always drinking a cup of tea, is too hot so I can't yet drink it, and I've filled it very full, is Bird and Blend Tea Company, of course, in their monkey chops flavour, because I decided to treat myself and buy some because it's my favourite, and when I have it I don't drink any other tea, so I have to ration it. So I don't buy it all the time, but it's like a banana flavoured black tea, which sounds horrendous to some of you, but to me it is heaven. So if you'd like to get 20% off your tea and matcha, feel free to use the code HannahTeabird20. It is an affiliate code for the first time that you use it. I don't know if it's a one-use code. It used to not be a one-use code, but now I've had some people say that they've had trouble using it, so it could be that it's a one-use code. I don't know. I should really inquire. But yeah, Hannah T-Bird 20 gets you 20% off all full priced tea and matcha products, which is technically also tea, but you know what I mean. And yeah, the first time you use it, I get a bit kicked back my way, which is very much appreciated. And I don't just drink their tea because I have an affiliate code with them. I loved it before the affiliate code, and I reached out and asked because I was giving them so much free promo. I'm gonna try to stop looking at myself. So yes, I had a very nice week last week. It was a lot of fun seeing my parents. I wanted to get loads of Advent mini skeins twisted up, but I got some Advent mini skeins twisted up. They had a nice garden, but yeah, it was a bit windy, so it was kind of annoying. But that's okay. I'm not actually complaining. So shall we get into the nitty gritty? And that pun wasn't intended, but as it left my mouth, I appreciated it was there. So where is it? Here it is. So this is technically almost a finished object. It does need blocking. I finished it in the car on Tuesday when we were driving back up, and then haven't actually taken it out of the bag since. Does it still have a stitch marker on it? No, I took it off. Okay, good. So this is my Spring Fling triangle scarf, triangle shawl, whatever. It's a crochet granny triangle shawl. It does need blocking because it's a bit springy, but it's really fun. I usually wear a lot of black, so I thought it would be like a nice pop of colour to when I'm wearing a black outfit. But you can't tell that today because I'm wearing pale pink, because I decided not to buy this in black, even though it was an option. I thought, let's break out of my usual colour scheme and go for a pale pink. I'll stop talking about t-shirts. So I still need to weave in my ends. I got one here and one at the top, but I crocheted this on a 6mm hook. I don't know why I went so big on the hook. Life is confusing that way. But yes, this was crocheted out of Sable Yarns. It's a gradient cake that they had that was called Kapow Cock, like a peacock, but kapow. And I hate the name. It's like a neon peacock colour, I suppose. Kapow. It just sounds like a superhero peacock, like a peacock wearing pants and an eye mask, fighting crime. That may just be me that thinks that, potentially, but it's a very nice colour. So yes, I went from the inside out. So we started with the pink and we go to the green, and I basically, so the pattern calls for like a picot edge. Couldn't be asked with a picot edge, so I went no picot. Because it's a gradient cake and I believe it was dyed on a sock blank, it's all a bit, it was all crinkly. So I will be post podcast giving this a good old soak and pinning it out, clearing some space on my craft room floor probably, and blocking it because it was going to grow an awful lot, which is pretty great because it's already huge. So it's just a nice springtime, early autumn, late summer if it gets a bit chilly because we're in the UK, shawl that would just brighten up an outfit because I wear a lot of black. That was the thought process behind it. But yeah, is that technically a finished thing? See, I would have finished it way sooner, but well, you know what's coming. If you've spent 2 seconds on my Instagram or read my blog post, I wrote a blog post. I'm sorry, who am I? 2014 Hannah? I don't know. I wrote a blog post, so this means I'm actually going to have to get rid of my blog link in the description box of the video, because that's not my blog anymore. It was the cornerofcraft.blogspot, I believe, but now I can host a blog on my website. So I've started to write blogs again because I enjoy typing, and I used to write loads in a newsletter. Then I realised, like an email newsletter, but I have an email newsletter. We call it the Adventuring Party now. Newsletter sounds stale. Adventuring Party, much more exciting. Yeah, and then I realised nobody wants to read pages of an email newsletter, so we've gone to blog posts. But if you've watched my last few videos, you will know the granny square blanket obsession is real. So I started this scrappy crochet granny square blanket a while ago now, and have gradually become more and more obsessed with it. So I've added a couple more rows. So we're now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 deep, which is exciting. So that's 60 squares. Because my thing is 10 across. If you see my blog post, then you will see the exact recipe that I use for it. I will also link the blog post in the show notes. And yes, so in the comments of my last video, I mentioned that it sounded like I was starting a granny square cult. So we've turned the culty aspect around on its head and made it into a party. So I've decided, and accidentally roped Alison of Lofty Loops in as well with my impassioned speech, speaking for her last week, to have the hashtag Granny Square Party for anyone that also wants to join the Granny Square Party with your scrappy Granny Square blankets. Or not even scrappy, just any old granny square blanket, really. I found 2 more blankets at my mum and dad's house that were in the making, one of which I think was 7 years old and the other one is 6 years old, 6.5. So once again, more information about them in the blog post. But yeah, I made granny squares whilst I was at mum and dad's when I shouldn't have done. I should have been focusing on my whips, but did granny squares instead because it's so much fun. And I got some mini skeins. One set of mini skeins arrived an hour after I left mum and dad's, which is super annoying, but also my own fault because Libby of Needle and Thread did message me and ask where I wanted them delivered, and I just said still send them to mum and dad's house, hopefully it'll get there. It didn't, it's fine. They'll either ship them up or whatever. But I got some mini skeins from Castleview Yarns. No, that's not one. That's the end of my shawl. And I've already made squares out of these. I suppose I should show the squares. But these are the remaining balls. And she has 10 gram mini skeins, which is perfect. Because I'm pretty sure my blanket squares take about 5 grams. So I got the We Are Explorers mini skeins. And I got the Villains, I think it's called, the Villains mini skeins, and these are all dark and moody colours, which is really fun. These ones I haven't made squares out of, but because apparently now I'm keeping my squares in a separate bag. It's not intentional, it's just while we were travelling up. I'll switch it all around again. But look how fun these colours are. This one's beautiful. I've got so many already that I need to start like planning to join on. Where's my fave? Here it is, whatever this one is, Castleview Yarns. Look at it. Oh, beautiful. So yes, I've just been really enjoying working on that. Although I haven't touched it since I've been home because I was trying to get some more interesting content to show you rather than hordes of granny squares that I'm sure some of you are sick of seeing, but come on. They're just so fun, bright and colourful. And as I mentioned in the blog post, which I'll stop going on about, it's really fun because I have a lot of stash. I don't turn too much because you'll see all the mess on my side, but I have a lot of stash happening. There's even more than you can't see. So it's really fun to also be able to, oh, I've gone off kilter, still continue to shop my friends' businesses and support them by doing mini skeins. So that's fun because that way I'm not adding to stash, I'm adding to blanket, and blanket doesn't count as stash. Yeah, I am tempted to do some more mini skein sets. I've done some before of like leftovers that I have. I sold them in my shop as like random scrappy blanket mini skeins. But yeah, I'm tempted to do some more, or like get some 10 gram minis and like dye up sets, but one thing at a time, because like I say, moving house is going to happen at some point, so I don't want to get too much stock in and then have to move it all and not know when I can dye it. Once we have some kind of date, then everything will be much clearer, but we don't, so. Right, 15 minutes in, I've done 2 things. This isn't good. Okay, socks. I have a half object on socks. Oh, I lost a square. That's the one from the edge of my shawl. Nice, right. I left it downstairs. I left it downstairs. I gotta go get it. I left it downstairs. I took advantage of the small break and also had a swig of tea. So yes, I have a half object. Ta-da, 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 my sock longer. So this is Yarn Badger. Sorry. Sorry, Liz. I was thinking Liz's yarn. No, this is the Yarn Badger in Winter Rainbow. This was a skein that she so generously gifted for me for my wedding, because I couldn't go to Nottingham Yarn Expo, which is where she was selling them. So I bought one, asked her to put it aside so my mum could pick it up because she went, and yeah, then she found out it was my wedding, so refunded me. So by it was my wedding, I mean my wedding was the day before, which is why my mum was up in Nottingham anyway, and yeah, so she picked it up for me. I have paired it with, it's on her yak sock base, which I should have remembered this by now. 60% superwash merino, 20% silk and 20% yak. 100 grams, 366 meters. This is her, the Yarn Badger. And yes, I paired it with, so when I dye yarn, sometimes the colour doesn't fully exhaust. Fun fact about dyeing yarn. So you put the dye in the saucepan or pan or whatever, you put it on the hob and you add the acid, and then you put the yarn in, and all the dye that's like in the water completely gets all sucked up by the yarn. So the water should be completely clear. Sometimes it takes a really long time for the water to get completely clear, and that can happen for a variety of reasons. For me, I really struggle with charcoal sometimes, like a charcoal grey colour. So I like having mini skeins on hand to chuck in the water if it seems to be taking a long time to exhaust, and it just sucks up the end, like the last little bit. So these mini skeins have been in dye several times, which is why they're such a beautiful dark grey. But that's just on my sturdy sock base, which is a BFL nylon blend, 75-25. I feel like I'm tempted to take out the heel and knit round a bit more. I don't know, it just looks like a very small heel. I did Kirby Werby's Afterthought heel, which usually, sorry I'm flashing it around again, usually isn't too much of an issue. I cut it in and did it early and then knit the foot and then knit the toe. Maybe it just needs blocking. I just feel like it doesn't fit as well as, I don't know, this sock, for example, which is on my sparkle sock base in the Ellen colourway. This is the Sterntaler sock by Becky Sorensen, and her new depth heel, Becky's heel, the new depth heel, just fits me so well. But it doesn't work quite so well on self-striping because it messes up the stripes, and I don't want messed up stripes. So I want to try and get the perfect like Afterthought heel, but I just can't seem to. I did knit round 4 times before I started decreasing. Maybe I need to knit around a few more, like 5 or 6, because I do have a very high arch in my foot. But we do have a half object, which is very exciting. I also had another skein of that grey, which I gave to my mum because I bought her a skein of the Sheffield's Relish. Sheffield's Relish from Peak District Yarn. And yeah, I had another one of the charcoaly grey, so she's going to knit my dad and herself some socks out of that. But yeah, I've started the other one. I've cracked on with it. I was knitting it during Dungeons and Dragons when we played on Tuesday, so we've got a bit of the way through it. I don't know what was holding me back from knitting more. I guess I was worried about lining up the stripes on the self-striping, but I'm pretty sure I've cracked it. Like, I think I've done it, so that's what put me off casting on the second one whilst I was away, because otherwise I could have finished that, really, couldn't I? Yes, I could have done. Okay, I've also already caked up a really horrible cake. My ball winder's broken. I'm really annoyed. My ball winder has broken. It's obviously had too much use. It was just a plastic one from Knit Pro, like the purpley blue one, and the gears just slide against each other now, and they actually don't turn the thing anymore. I managed to get two more skeins caked up, but like, look at this mess. What is this? It's horrendous. So yeah, if anyone has any ball winder recommendations, I was looking at the Stanway, but they're predominantly in the US, and I haven't seen many people sell it in the UK. Well, I found a listing on Amazon, but I know we hate Amazon, but I found a listing on Amazon, but the title of the listing was for a cordless vacuum cleaner, but the picture and the description and all the reviews was for the ball winder, so I don't really understand. But yeah, if anyone has any good ones, let me know. Helen of Giddy Yarns was recommended because hers was also broken at the same time, and she had the same ball winder. Obviously not the same, because she's in Scotland. I am not. I'm in Notland. That was terrible. Yeah, also Knit Pro, pretty sure Knit Pro, but like the wide wooden one. And I'm concerned because I can only actually attach a wool winder to like one spot in my house, because everything else is like, doesn't work. So I'm worried it's going to take up too much space on there, but because it's actually just on a cabinet that we have downstairs, because it doesn't fit on my desk, doesn't fit on any of my shelves, doesn't fit on our dining room table. What the hell is my life? But yeah, if anyone has any recommendations of either ones on Etsy that are handmade or whatever, because I've had to remove my Cake My Yarn listing from my online shop, so that's actually really annoying for a lot of people who don't have access to a wool winder. So yeah, if anyone has any recommendations, let me know. It's technically a business purchase, so I'm not too concerned about cost. If it's a good one and lasts me more than, I don't know, 3 years, that would be great, because that's how old my other one was. I have a bit on my thumb that I just keep picking at, and you might have been able to see it, but it's really annoying. I don't know why the dry skin on my hand has just come back on the last couple of days. So, oh, that was living in my tea project bag with my Caduceus pin on from Critical Role, and this bag is from Down Sheepy Lane. So, living in my little grey girl project bag with my Just a Lavore pin, fitting donuts. I have my telegram. I've forgotten how to speak French. Cardigan. I have a degree in French and German, and yet I can't seem to pronounce this. I thought that I was getting loads of done on this, but I've had a look at where my stitch marker is, and you know what? Doesn't actually look like I've made much progress, but this is how much progress I've made in the last fortnight. The damn blanket, maybe I'll try not to work on it. I can't do that to myself. But we are making good progress with the beautiful cables under the arm, stunning. And then, yeah. This is a pattern by Becky Sorensen, who is Soprano Knits and also one of my BFFs. Having a great time in Portugal at the moment. So jealous. And yeah, it's a beautiful cardigan in this gorgeous textured like rib with the fun cable down the side, and then the cable also runs under the arm. I'm trying to decide if I want to do the cable under the arm or if I just want to keep that with this, sticking with the rib, and just have it down the sides. I haven't decided yet, but I don't need to, because I've still got quite a way to go with this. I'm really enjoying knitting it. I'm just very slow at knitting rib. That's it. If it was just purl, I'd be much quicker, but it's not. So, or if it was just stocking stitch, sorry, I'd be much quicker, but it's not. So, and it's not all rib, so I'm just being slow about it, and I keep stopping and then going on my phone and seeing what's happening on Instagram, even though nobody cares. But yes, the Telegram cardigan. I'm very excited because I know that I will wear the crap out of this. This is knit out of technically chromatic yarns, but on a base that I don't usually stock. It's a non-superwash base. And I asked in the last episode of the podcast if people would be I think it's the last one. I asked in one of the previous ones if people would be interested in a non-superwash base, and a fair few people said yes. So we shall see what I can do. It's build up my confidence with dyeing it a bit more. I'm alternating skeins because I'm a good knitter, and yeah, this cable is stunning. Becky's currently designing socks with a similar cable, and I'm really excited for them, the Telegram socks. They look beautiful. So yes, ta-da! It's just going to be a nice grey cardigan that I wear with everything. I just need to sit and crack on with it, which was what the last 2 weeks was meant to be, sitting and cracking on with it, but obviously that didn't happen because I need to somewhat concentrate whilst I'm knitting it, just to keep track of rows for cable's sake. And obviously when you're around family and everyone's chatting all the time, it's difficult to concentrate when everyone's chatting all the time. But I also forgot my cable needles, had to borrow some of my mum's. Smooth me. I thought they were in with my knitting needles. They were not. I have found them since I'm home, so that's fine. Yes. The goal is to crack on with this a bit more. I will move up my stitch marker. This stitch marker is by one of my friends, Anna, who used to have a polymer clay shop, but doesn't anymore, and made me a necklace with a teacup on it. And because this is a polymer clay thing, because I found it out, well, not that recently now, and realised I hadn't worn it as a necklace in ages, I decided to take it off the chain and pop it on a stitch marker and turn it into a stitch marker instead, and it's had significantly more usage. Although technically it's a cup of Earl Grey with the lemon in it, and I'm not a fan of Earl Grey, so. But worth it, because it's a T-stitch marker. And I've got 3 of my besties, or 2 of my besties, sorry, combined in one pattern with Becky's pattern and Anna's stitch marker. Fun. Fun, fun, fun. I wasn't too sure about this lip colour when I first got it, however long ago I got it, but I don't mind it today. It might not fit with my whole black clothing aesthetic, but with the pale pink, I'd quite like it. Okay, so on to the final whip. I cast this on last night because I thought I needed to have something new to show you all. Need is the wrong word. Oh, excuse me, spaghetti. Gave me the gurgles. I wanted to have something new to show you all. So, like I said, the plan last week was to get a crap ton knit and all crocheted. And so I had caked some bits up to take down with me to work on whilst I was down there for when I finished other projects, because I vastly overestimated myself and how quickly I knit. Oh, that's the mini skein is to go with that yarn. I have cast on another all about that brioche shawl by Lisa Hannes. I knit one of these whilst I was still in Germany, so I'm gonna say 2016 maybe, with some of the first hand-dyed yarn I'd ever bought. So I wear that all the time, even today. I mean, not right now today, but I started another one. So I am using Dragon Horde yarn in the colour Come Alive, which sadly is a retired colour. I double checked with her last night, but this was gifted to me by Tristan when we went to Edinburgh Yarn Festival last year. Oh, it's also living in my wizard bag by the little grey girl with a little bumblebee on it that I got from Holly Hartfelt. Yeah, that's the bee's bum. Turn around. There we go, that's upside down. It's covered in fluff because I kept my wedding shawl in it, and that's knit out of mohair, so. Yes. It's a really beautiful grey with little pops of colour, and I'm really enjoying knitting it again. I got my little dragon stitch marker because I haven't got many stitch markers on any of my projects at the minute. I'm really good at advertising my own products. I'm not knitting with any of my own yarn other than my cardigan, which actually I don't stock in my shop. And terrible businesswoman, basically. So yes, I cast this on yesterday because, sorry, I just covered up my mouth, I'll say that again. I cast this on yesterday because I bought The Sims 4 Nifty Knitting, which is the new stuff pack that came out for The Sims 4. It was like the audience community voted in one, and my sim was knitting all of these things, like hats and scarves and jumpers and mailbox cozies, and it's amazing. And you can list and sell it online. It's so much fun. As in, not for real money, for Sims money. Anyway, my sim was knitting all these things, and I just thought, maybe I should treat myself to a new cast on. So this is going to be paired with Yarn Cafe Creations, because they're both on the same base, which is very helpful. This is in her Gothic colourway. It's 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon, and it's 400 meters per 100 grams. That's just me quickly translating it. So it's this gorgeous dark purple, which would coordinate with my hair if I hadn't just not cared about it for the last 2 weeks or so and just washed it willy-nilly. Yeah, it's a gorgeous dark purple and will go very nicely. Look, I had to I had to wind it by hand. I caked up this disaster of a cake and then tried to do this one, and it just kept slipping and making horrendous. It was so noisy, so I did this by hand instead, which not fun, especially when I was trying to like pack. Turns out didn't even need to do it, didn't even start it till I got back anyway, but you never know. So yeah, so that's that one. And then I'm really sorry it's so bad. So this is a dark purple with some black through it, and it's really badly caked, so need a new yarn winder that lasts through time. But yes, it's garter on either side. It's got like a brioche section in the middle where the prominent colour switches halfway through. The other one I made was out of like a deep teal and like a pumpkin orange. I mean, the colour is Hokkaido, which is a pumpkin, so. But yeah, I thought this one would be fun and very different from my other one, and I haven't knit brioche in a really long time, so I thought, why not treat yourself? So that is the very beginnings of All About That Brioche Shawl by Lisa Hannes, who has patterns, I looked it up yesterday, for sale on Love Knitting, for those who either don't want to support Ravelry right now because they're being buttheads, or for those who cannot use Ravelry right now because of accessibility issues, which they claim don't exist. Okay, so I have a couple of stash acquisitions. So I got a message from a lovely lady called Georgia recently. I believe I had this for the last podcast and I just didn't show you. And she asked if I wanted a little care package, and I was like, sure. I don't know what I was expecting, but she sent through some tea and some really nice smelling candles, but also this beautiful skein of wool. As you can tell, I have a colour scheme. I love purple. So this is by Jawstad Creek, which she said was local to her. It's 75% merino, 25% silk, 400 meters. Once again, translating in my head into metric. 400 meters per 100 grams. And this colour is called Just What You Need. So it's really beautiful, and we'll go with a fair few things I have in my stash already. Oh, this is a vintage colour from Yarn Cafe Creations that it would go very nicely with. Look at it, look at that old label. You can't see it. Okay, very nicely with that. But yes, I've got some wool that it would definitely go with. This is some Kate Celine, the February colour from like last year, 2 years ago. When we were in Germany. because I got it and then bought wool to go with it, so the stuff exists. Yes, so thank you very much, Georgia. That meant a lot to me to have that come through in the post. And then Stripy Cat Yarns, we did a swap. She does gorgeous self-striping colorways, and she messaged me and said, hey, do you want to do a little swappy swap? So I said sure. So I made her a 2 stitch markers, one of each of her cats. I had way too much fun staring at cat pictures, trying to like match up colours and colour placement. And yeah, she sent me a skein of Milky Way on her BFL nylon base, which is 75-25 superwash BFL and nylon. And yeah, she included a mini skein, which was very sweet. But yes, I'm very excited to knit this up, and because I can get a pair of socks out of 50 grams of yarn, I will also be able to knit a second pair of socks for someone else. So yes, absolutely beautiful. She is stripycatyarns.co.uk, and she does beautiful self-striping wool. I've been watching her for a while. I just wanted to get some stash down a bit before I purchased from her, but then she reached out and I was like, how can I resist? So yes, I need to actually stop buying wool. Oh, this actually goes quite nicely. Oh goodness. Ooh. I mean, I could do another So Faded jumper quite easily if I wanted to. So many options. I just need to get through some stash, or do a bit of a de-stash of older yarn that I haven't used. We'll see. Anyway, so that is it basically. That's all the knitting content. Very brief shop news. My final slots for the advent calendar, the Chromatic Yarns advent calendar, will be going on sale tomorrow at 7 p.m. BST. Once they are gone, they are gone. I am not doing any extra because I've already started dyeing up the exact amount that I have for sale. So if you miss out, I sincerely apologise. It is beyond my control. But yes, you get 24 20-gram mini skeins. You get one 100-gram skein, and you get some goodies throughout. I obviously don't want to share them because I want it to be a surprise. I will not be doing hand beaded stitch markers for the advent calendars. It's a Strictly Yarns one this year. Next year maybe it will be a bit different, but obviously then the price would increase. But yes, so if you are interested, tomorrow 7 p.m. oh sorry, 7 p.m. London time, British summer time, at thecornerofcraft.co.uk. Be there, be prepared, as our good friend Scar from the Lion King says. Yes, and then on Saturday, I will be, because it's the 1st of the month, how is it already August? Nobody knows. I will be having my yarn and stitch marker clubs both go up in the shop at 4 p.m. once again BST. Same time, same date, every month, the 1st. And the stitch marker theme is a mystery. And the yarn theme, it's a Critical Role themed yarn club, which is an online streamed game, which I very much enjoy. This year is based on the 99, and I might continue it to next year. I'm really enjoying it. This month's theme is Frumkin, which is the beautiful familiar that Caleb Widogast has, who often takes form of a cat, but can be transformed into other things as well. And yeah, I'm really excited about dyeing that up. I actually need to check my dye stores and place an order. That's a good point. But yes, if you're interested, feel free to go check that out, cornerofcraft.co.uk, and they'll be shipped mid-month. I haven't got another shop update planned as yet. I was going to take August to like plow through quite a few advent colorways, advent days, and get some of them done. And yeah, also we're waiting on a moving date and stuff, so exciting times. So I didn't want to plan too much and then not be able to fulfill it. Oh, also on Saturday, I need to check the time, Helen of Giddy Yarns, whom I have mentioned, I need to check her Instagram. See, this is why I have my phone up here. So last year, Helen organised 12 dyers from the UK to partake in her 12 Days of Christmas charity selection box. So this box contains 12 20-gram mini skeins, each dyed by a different UK dyer and inspired by sweet treats. Yarn bases may vary, but there will be 4-ply sock bases, blah, blah. So these are planning to be shipped out in November. So the number of boxes is limited, because obviously we can only dye so many, and will cost £50 plus postage. And £12 from each of the boxes will be split between 3 charities, which is Shelter, Action for Children and Contact the Elderly. Last year all the boxes sold very quickly and we were able to donate £120 to each charity, which is amazing. So the dyers are The Corner of Craft, Craft House Magic, Down Sheepy Lane, Fruitful Fusion, bit of a mouthful, Game of Crafting, Henny Penny Makes, Callock Sheck Ellen, oh I hope I pronounced that right, sorry Ellen, Lay Family Yarn, Nora George Yarns, Rusty Ferret Yarn, Third Vault Yarn and Giddy Yarns, obviously. And does it say when they're going to sale? Yes. So they'll be launching, pre-orders will be launching on the Giddy Yarns website, which I will tell you in just a second, and will be linked in the show notes, on the 1st of August at 8 PM BST British summertime. And double checking the web link before I tell you the wrong one. Yes, so it's Giddy Yarns, GIDDY yarns.com, and that is where they'll be going on sale. So if you fancy getting your mitts on a 12 Days of Christmas charity advent, maybe you don't want to go the whole hog, get the full 24-day advent from any dyer, you just want to have like a little snippet from a variety of dyers. I decided what my colourway was going to be yesterday, don't you worry. It may be inspired by sweet treats, but it is also Dungeons and Dragons themed. That was the challenge I had. And yes, very excited to start dyeing them up. So yeah, that's happening too. So life stuff, what's happened? I mean, not a whole lot. I went down to Mum and Dad's last week. It was really lovely. Oh, Yorkshire Yarn Fest happened. Thank you so much to everyone who purchased from me. That was utter madness. I know some of you are still waiting on some parcels and blah blah blah, because I've got some emails from people. Parcels are arriving in a weird order. I sent the yarn clubs a couple of days before actually like 4 or 5 days before I sent the yarn clubs. Got sent on the Thursday, and then the rest of the orders got sent on the Monday after that Thursday, but things seem to be arriving in different orders, so I'm guessing like mail sacks may have got jumbled up and whatever. But yes, thank you to everyone who purchased from me. It really means a lot every single time. Utterly astounded. I worked my little tush off to make sure that they all went to the post office on Monday before we drove down to Mum and Dad's Monday evening. So yeah, it was amazing. Thank you all so much. It's why I'm going to be taking it a bit lighter for the next few weeks, because like I say, I don't know when I'm moving. I should probably start packing at some point very soon. That's the point. I need to sort out some financial things to send to my dad, who's our financial mortgage advisor. Very useful. But yes, so just thought if I take it light and just concentrate on getting advents done, the earlier I get them done, the earlier I can get back to doing like regular shop updates. Might try and build up the stash of stitch markers again if I get the urge to start beading. And yeah, absolutely blown away. So thank you all so much if you shopped the virtual Yorkshire Yarn Fest. I believe the next one's on the 29th of August, but I won't be taking part in that one. maybe if there's an October one I might do, but who knows, don't hold your breath. Life, yeah, so I went down to mum and dad's. I had a really nice time. Managed to have a couple of very socially distant meetings with friends in my parents' garden. They were sat at one end of the garden, I was sat at the other end of the garden. Really weird to see. I'm a person that loves to hug people, so it was very odd to see my parents and not hug them when I first walked it. It was weird to see to see friends that usually nobody had to walk through the house to get to the garden. They all went round to the edge, no one touched anything. We're very conscious, hand sanitizer everywhere, you know the drill. It was weird to see friends that I hadn't seen since Christmas and not hug them, because these are friends that I've had since secondary school, for eons. Saw my grandma from a distance once again, very strange. It's just a weird time. I've not been seeing a whole lot of people whilst this has all been going on. I've just been in the house predominantly, so it was weird to see people that I would usually have like physical contact with and not have physical contact with them. I don't know. I know it's something that everyone is experiencing, so it's probably just me being over dramatic as usual, but I just thought putting it out there. What else? Maria then came down on the Saturday and we got a bit sunburnt, sat in the garden because it was windy and didn't realise, and I said to Mario several times, does he want sun cream? He said no. So then he got sunburnt face. Smooth. This isn't sunburn, this is blusher. I realised my nose looks a bit red, but I put blusher on it because I kind of like how it looks on other people. Still don't know if I can pull it off. But I got a weird, did get a bit sunburnt on my face, but I actually did have SPF on. But I got like weird patches on my legs in sunburn that just looked a bit like rashes. Very odd. Also completely my own fault. It's the problem with going to the coast and being bombarded with breeze. You don't actually realise how hot it is and how sunburnt you're getting. But it doesn't matter. Went for a walk along the beach. Standard regalia when you visit parents in the south. And yeah, just very much stayed indoors. Watched Frozen 2 again. Oh, watched Mary Poppins Returns. Did enjoy. Yeah, did enjoy. And yeah, we got through quite a few films. Watched Coco with mum and dad. It makes me cry every time. I feel like I've messed up on a bit of the song. Maybe not. It makes me cry every time. But very good film. And yeah, just watched a lot of films basically. But it was really lovely to take some time away. I mean, I still did work. Who am I kidding? It's the joys of being self-employed. I never really stop. There's always the fear, I suppose, that this could all go away any second. So yeah, I don't know. It's a stupid fear to have. I am well aware, but it's a present fear. But yeah, I took mini skeins down to twist. I'll probably do some more this afternoon while continuing to catch up on Critical Role, 'cause I'm 2 episodes behind. Well, now 1.5 episodes behind, but I got bored of twisting yarn yesterday. And yeah, I'm just gonna be taking it easy for the next few days, and then boom, back on Monday, back to dyeing yarn. I need to order some more yarn. Don't worry, everyone, there's a shortage of the merino sock base going around. Not the merino sock base I use, but like the 75-25 merino sock base that people use. One of the key suppliers had like a disruption with the mill because of the Roni. And so yes, I am not using that base for my advent calendars, but I do have all the mini skeins there for my advents. They're all there. I do need to buy the 100-gram skeins for the advents, but I do technically have enough to do all the advents, so I might put them put them aside, because if people can't get the merino base, they might start, you know, stepping on my toes and getting the BFL base. I'm kidding, but yes, so don't worry, I do have all the stock for advents there. And I have I need to order some more of my merino bases that I'd order from a different place because I wanted to do things a bit different. But yeah, there is a shortage. So you might notice that some of your favourite dyers are experimenting with new bases for a limited time. It's the way the world works. Nobody could have predicted this. The supply got a shipment in on Tuesday, I think, and had sold out in half an hour or something I've seen. Madness. Absolute madness. So, yes. We don't have a whole lot coming up either, and nothing's really happening. Of course nothing's happening. There's a global pandemic. So, yeah. Just going to keep knitting, keep playing The Sims, nifty knitting. If I had a better computer, I would love to record Knitter Reacts to The Sims Nifty Knitting, but because I thought it would be really fun, and I mean, I would watch that. I haven't watched any of, so I watch people play The Sims 4 sometimes, not all the time. Some people really get on my wick with it because they just don't do it right. There's no right way to play The Sims, I know, but I haven't watched anyone else's review of The Sims Nifty Knitting because, as far as I'm aware, the people that I watch aren't knitters, so they might not get it, so I didn't want to watch it and then be influenced by it. But maybe I'll do a video and I just won't put like clips in, but that would make it more fun. I'll see what the laptop can hack. I have to run The Sims 4 on such low resolution, it might not be fun to watch. It might not be fun for other people to watch. The joys of playing on a laptop that also Mario games on and downloads Destiny 2, which is a huge game and God knows what on it. It's like, thanks. The Sims has been on that longer than your stupid games have been on it, but that's fine. Also potentially serves me right for getting a Chromebook for business instead of getting a laptop that I could play The Sims on. Chromebook's cheaper though, so that's why I did it. Anyway, oh, I need to order some more Bird and Blend tea bags as well. It's all happening. Thank you so much for watching. I actually don't have anything to tell you, so you can tell I'm talking out of my feet. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, it would mean a lot to me if you gave it a thumbs up and you subscribed. Comment below, let me know if you've joined the Granny Square party. Post your pics on Instagram using hashtag Granny Square party. Join the party, the more the merrier. Feel free to check the podcast notes that I will link them in the pinned comment. If you'd like to follow me on social media, please feel free. Links can all be found in the description box below, as well as any other information I think you might need. And with all that being said, thank you for sitting with me for the past God knows how long. And I will see you all very soon. Bye!